Man, GW screwed up Custodes release, didn't they? Not only did they release one of the worst codexes, the most underpowered and nerfed codex going so far, much to the derisement of anybody who actually played the army. They also failed to release any new models of note and implemented a very hastily and awkwardly done retcon, putting female Custodes into the army and just making a complete hash of it with their social media actions after that, banning anybody who dared question the party line, as it were, and just generally just making an awful job of handling the entire release. So I thought I'd do a quick video just saying what I thought would happen, and how I would have handled this release. And indeed, in my early videos, some of the ones I did with Matt, you would see that I actually thought the Custodes release would go completely differently. So what I would have done with the Adeptus Custodes would have been to actually increase the range. Now, I need to put a little disclaimer in here. I don't actually think that the Adeptus Custodes should be an army in Warhammer 40,000. Again, I've said this with Matt previously. I think they're too powerful. I think they diminish what is already meant to be the elite, which is the Space Marines. And I don't think with the current D6 system that GW operates that Custodes work in Warhammer 40,000. They certainly don't act like they should do when you think of them in the lore. I mean, even GW describes them as a gathering of demigods, not a brotherhood of demigods anymore, obviously. They just don't act like that on the battlefield. I watched a play on tabletop battle report the other day, which was Orcs versus Custodes, and nearly all the Custodes were just wiped out by Orcs. Just dropping. Doesn't matter if they've got 2+ armor. As soon as you put minuses on that, or as soon as you put enough attacks on them, they're just down. They do not have the survivability that the lore dictates they would do. So this is what I would have done with Custodes. I would have actually, bear in mind that you're going to keep them, I would have taken the Forge World tanks and the dreadnoughts. So I think it's the Achilles, and I can't remember what the other one's called. Galatus, I think it is. And at least one of the grav tanks. And I would have brought them over to plastic. The reason for this is to make it a more formed force, to make it an army that actually works. For example, again, going back to this play on tabletop game, the only things that were left on the table by the end of the game were a grav tank and one of the Forge World dreadnoughts. And given those grav tanks are like nearly £100, I think the dreadnoughts were about £75 each. You shouldn't have to spend that kind of money to have a viable army for the Custodes. That's just ridiculous. So that's two things that I would have brought over. I also would have expanded the Sisters of Silence range. I would have given them a fast attack option, and I would have probably put a plastic character in there of some description. That I feel would have benefited the range more than what GW did. Now, when we're talking about the retcon with the females, and this potentially being put in through Amazon, and this is weird because I did a video very early on in this whole thing saying that they forced this on GW. And that seems to have been picked up as an official rumour. Now, I'm not sure if people saw my video, if it's just the two things have collided. But yeah, that was a bit weird. But anyway, on the basis that Amazon asked for this to happen, and it seems quite likely because the female retcon is literally one short story in a codex that was quite clearly already finished. I think that the retcon has been done at very short notice. What I would have done in order to, because if the retcon's got to happen, I would have pushed the Custodes back. Then you've got time to make a female character model, and you've got time to do some female heads for the Custodes. But more importantly, you've got time to address the addition of female Custodes to the range. Again, bear in mind that this is going to happen. GW, they're going to GW. You could have come up with an actual lore reason. You could have not half-arsed it. You could have done something properly. You could have done it in a way that will piss off a lot less people. People are still going to be pissed. There's some people who just don't want it, but you would have pissed off a lot less people, and you wouldn't have the situation going on at the moment where GW has seriously lost credibility and integrity because of the way this has been done. Yeah, that's what I would have done. I would have brought across a dreadnought and a tank. I think that would have made the forces, the army, a lot more fun. And if that means pushing back the release, that means pushing back the release, because what they have done has just a disaster. quite frankly. GW do this every now and again. They have some kind of like PR disaster or some crap event that happens that pisses the fans off, and they are so bad at handling it that I genuinely believe they need to employ somebody who can just have a word and go, look, you have to at least be able to pretend or to half convince the fans that you give a shit. Because quite honestly, the perception of GW at the moment has probably never been lower than perhaps when they just completely killed all their social media channels anyway. They seem so corporate, so set in their ways, and so anti-fan, blocking people who spent thousands of pounds on their products over decades in the aim of courting people who may well treat it as a very casual thing and move on to the next thing as soon as they're bored. What can I say? It reminds me of that dodgeball quote.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Anyway, I'm going to disappear now. Just a quick video. I'm working on the other stuff with Matt and also our Primaris video with Carl, which was fantastic. And I'll hold those up for you soon. And yeah, thanks for listening. See you later, guys.